Have you ever watched your cat suddenly avoid someone you trusted and wondered why? Maybe your cat stared at them, moved away when they came closer, or refused to let them touch them. You might have thought your cat was simply being difficult, but what if there was a reason? Cats notice things we often overlook, and sometimes their strange reaction to a person may be a warning you shouldn't ignore. Today we're revealing 12 silent signs your cat may not trust someone, and once you know them, you'll start watching your cat very differently. Number 12. The walk comes before the face. Long before a guest is close enough to touch, your cat has already profiled them, and it has almost nothing to do with looks. It's about motion. Cats are built as motion specialists, with peripheral vision stretching close to 200 degrees and a visual system tuned to read the quality of movement rather than the shape of it. Smooth, steady, rhythmic motion reads as safe. Sudden stop-start motion reads as something else entirely, because in nature, that jagged rhythm is the signature of a predator committing to a strike. Someone who stomps in heavy and fast, plants their feet hard, and changes direction abruptly is broadcasting danger without saying a word. It isn't only visual either. Cats feel vibration through their paw pads and through the sensitive nerves at the base of each whisker. By the time your guest reaches the hallway, your cat has already filed them under walking storm. Number 11, hands get their own trial. Here's something most owners never clock. Your cat doesn't judge you as one package. It runs 2 separate evaluations, one for your face, one for your hands, and when they disagree, the hands win. Watch a cat meeting someone new. Its eyes flick to the face for a second, then drop and stay locked on the hands. The logic is brutally simple. Hands grab, corner, lift, and restrain. A face can smile while a hand is already moving, so cats built a hierarchy of trust. Hands that stay low and still are neutral. Hands that hover overhead are a threat. Hands that move faster than the body they're attached to trigger alarm. And the classic well-meaning gesture, palm down over a cat's skull, mimics the descending shadow of an aerial predator almost exactly. Most people fail this test in the first 3 seconds and never find out why. Number 10, they catch the mismatch between your voice and your body. Cats are remarkably skilled at what researchers call incongruence detection, noticing when a person's voice sends one message while their body sends another. Feline cognition studies suggest cats process vocal tone and body language as 2 separate streams of information and then cross-check them against each other. A sugary, sing-song hi kitty, delivered with a rigid spine, tight shoulders, and a locked stare, doesn't register as kindness. It registers as a warning dressed up in a pleasant sound. That's exactly why the person cooing sweetly in the corner is often the one your cat won't go near. The cat isn't confused. It noticed the thing you talked yourself out of noticing. You heard the words. Your cat heard the body underneath them. Number 9. Your body chemistry gives you away. You can manage your face. You can manage your voice. You cannot manage what you're chemically emitting. A cat's sense of smell is roughly 14 times more sensitive than a human's, but the real secret weapon is the vomeronasal organ in the roof of its mouth. The reason a cat sometimes freezes with its jaw slightly open in that strange, distant expression. That isn't a glitch. It's a second analysis system pulling in chemical information about the state of a living thing nearby. Agitation, fear, anger, or suppressed emotion all shift a person's sweat composition, hormone levels, and breath chemistry. And none of that is invisible to a cat, which leads to an uncomfortable truth. A cat isn't judging your morality. It's judging your internal state, and internal states are almost impossible to fake for an animal that reads them chemically. Number 10, cats eavesdrop on how you treat everyone else. This one will change how you watch your cat at dinner parties forever. Your cat isn't only tracking how a guest treats it, it's tracking how that guest treats you. Cats are far more socially observant than their reputation suggests. They register shifts in voice volume, notice when a relaxed conversation turns tense, and clock who interrupts, who raises their voice, and who makes you go quiet. Research in comparative cognition has found that several species will avoid food or contact offered by a human they've watched behave unhelpfully towards someone else. A kind of social eavesdropping that builds a reputation file from evidence alone. So, when your cat vanishes into the bedroom for one specific guest, ask yourself honestly, what does that person sound like when they're talking to you? Number 7. The slow blink is a contract, and dangerous people never sign it. Quick question for the comments. Has your cat ever refused to trust someone, and you later found out the cat was right? The slow blink is probably the most misread gesture in the cat world. It looks like a simple sign of affection, but it's really a declaration of vulnerability. Closing your eyes near another animal means voluntarily giving up your only defense. When a cat slow blinks at you, it's essentially saying, "I'm willing to be undefended around you." Studies have shown cats often return a slow blink of their own and are more willing to approach a stranger who offers one. Here's the part nobody mentions. Cats offer this test constantly and watch how people respond. Calm, comfortable people blink naturally and softly. Tense people don't. They hold a hard, unblinking stare, either trying to control the animal or bracing for it to lunge. In feline language, a stare without a blink isn't a greeting. It's a challenge. Number 6. They're always tracking your exit strategy. Every time a cat enters a room, it silently maps every escape route. Doorways, gaps under furniture, high shelves, the path behind the couch. This isn't anxiety, it's architecture, running quietly in the background at all times. Now, watch what happens when a person enters. Your cat instantly recalculates. Does this human's position block an exit? A safe person, almost without thinking, moves along the edges of a room, sits down, and leaves the path open. A dangerous person cuts through the center, corners the cat against a wall, crouches in a doorway, or, the cardinal sin, follows a retreating cat. That single move can convert a neutral stranger into a confirmed threat within seconds, and the classification is nearly impossible to undo. The people cats love are almost always the people who let them leave. Number 5. Your cat checks your face before deciding anything. This is called social referencing, and it's one of the more astonishing things cats do. When something ambiguous shows up, an unfamiliar object, a strange sound, a new person, a cat looks at the unknown thing, then looks at you, gathering your reaction as data. Studies on feline social referencing show that when an owner responds calmly to something new and unsettling, cats relax and explore far more readily. When the owner tenses up, cats stay guarded and orient toward the door. That has a heavier implication than it first seems. If your shoulders rise, your voice tightens, or your smile lands half a second too late when someone new walks in, your cat notices and borrows your judgment. It isn't only reading the stranger, it's reading your reading of the stranger, sometimes picking up on your true opinion before you've admitted it to yourself. Number 4. One bad moment gets filed forever. Cats don't average people out over time the way humans do, weighing good moments against bad ones for a fair overall score. Cats lean on something closer to single-event learning. One genuinely frightening experience can create an aversion that lasts for years. In the wild, an animal that gives a predator a second chance doesn't get to pass on its genes. And the file a cat builds is far more detailed than "this person is bad." It includes footstep weight, voice pitch, hand speed, and scent, a full composite profile. That's why a cat sometimes reacts badly to a total stranger who's done nothing at all. That stranger isn't being judged as an individual, they're being matched against an old profile and triggering a memory they had no part in creating. Cats don't hold grudges out of spite, they hold them out of arithmetic. Number 3, cats aren't fooled by people who try too hard. Every cat owner has seen this pattern and almost nobody has explained why it happens. The guest who loudly loves cats drops to their knees and chases the cat around the room gets rejected. The guest who barely acknowledges the cat exists ends up with it curled in their lap 20 minutes later. It isn't irony, it's grammar. In feline social language, closing the distance is a status move, and the one who waits is the one offering choice. A person performing enthusiasm looks, from the cat's perspective, like an unpredictable animal pushing into its space and demanding a response. The cat isn't rewarding indifference. It's rewarding restraint, rewarding the person who let it decide. It's the closest thing to a moral judgment cats make. They consistently favor humans who don't take what hasn't been offered. Number 2, stillness can mean the opposite of comfort. Most guides get this completely backwards. People picture a cat's dislike as flattened ears, a puffed tail, or a hiss. But that's actually a cat that still believes it has options. The real warning sign is stillness. A cat gone rigid, low, and tightly compressed, pupils blown wide, face angled away while its ears stay locked on the person, isn't calm. It has concluded that movement is riskier than freezing. The version that fools people most is the cat that sits quietly in the room and doesn't run. Owners read that as tolerance, when it's often the opposite. An animal too overwhelmed to commit to leaving, simply waiting it out. Learn to read stillness correctly, and you'll start noticing things about your guests that your cat has been quietly reporting for years. Number 1. When a cat truly decides you're dangerous, it doesn't warn you. It erases you. And here we are, the final sign. The one almost nobody recognizes because it's defined entirely by absence. A hiss is communication. A swat is communication. Both mean the cat still believes negotiation is possible, that a boundary can be drawn and respected. But once a cat reaches a final verdict on a person, its behavior shifts completely. It stops reacting to them altogether. There's no dramatic hiding. It simply stops being wherever they are. It leaves rooms a beat before they enter, abandons its favorite spot while they're around, and watches from a distance, from height, from the doorway, never engaging, never protesting, never handing them a single piece of usable information. That isn't fear. That's a decision. A cat that hisses is still in the conversation. A cat that has erased you has ended it.